could just never do any work and just sit and look at this stuff all day long because it's just crazy. So that's age demographics, and then we've got medium age, and then we've got are you white? Are you Caucasian? Are you? Let me see. Are you employed? Are you not employed? What areas are you employed in? Are you professional? Are you management? What is your income breakdown? Do you make over $250,000 a year? Or do you make less than that? What's the median household? What's your marital status? Are you married? Are you single? Are you divorced? How many kids do you have at your house? Do you live, is country more prevalent in the Northeast or the South or the Midwest? The county size that you live in. Do you live in rural areas? Do you live in, what other radio formats do you listen to? So a lot of times, especially in a cluster environment, I want that advertiser to buy more than just my country station. So I talk about matching them up with different formats that they tend to, if you're going to buy KRST, well, those same people also listen to this other radio station, so you can hit them in both areas because they flip back and forth. This goes on and on and on and on and on. What TV stations do they watch? Again, an unbelievable amount of information, and that's just, again, kind of the national 30,000 foot view of that format. I've got that on every format: country, news talk, easy listening, big band, oldie. I got it all. So we start with that just to go, who's the country listener, and we got to know that for all 8 of our stations.
What genre has the highest income level?
In my building, it's 770 KKOB and 99.5 Magic. They tend to be a little older, like us, and they make a little bit more money. They're white-collar jobs. They're educated. That tends to be the case with those stations. So, please.
Do you have an example of kind of a paradigm buster where you kind of have a stereotype in mind and when you look at the data, kind of shock you?
One of the things that we fight a lot here is we get a lot of money from the national buyers, so Coca-Cola and Budweiser, and they look at New Mexico and they look at Albuquerque and they go, we need to buy Spanish radio. No, you don't. Most of the people here speak English. We are in the United States. And we fight that battle. So if you're a Spanish-speaking radio station, there's a lot of money that comes to you, and frankly, it just shouldn't be that much. They devote a lot more money than, so we have to really dig in and show the number of Hispanics that do listen. And two of my formats, country and top 40, it's off the charts. So we have a huge amount of Hispanics listening to those formats, but that's one of the things that we have to dispel that rumor to the national buyers a lot. So that, again, format by format, I've got that information. Well, then I like to find out, again, the advertiser that I'm going out to talk to, who's coming in their door, and how does that match up to my radio stations. So I pulled an example right here of Jiffy Lube. So this right here shows me, and this is Scarborough information that they do. They spend 45 minutes with you on the phone, and they've asked you if you go to Jiffy Lube. So I look at this, and in the Jiffy Lube current shopper, it's 59% male, 41% female. This breaks out their age group on the right-hand side, so I can see that they do real well with 25 to 34-year-olds. They don't do so well with teens, because teens probably are having their parents take care of that for them. So I got a graph there, and again, I apologize that it's not all on one sheet here, but I know that they're employed, not many students, that's their household income. So knowing that, when I'm talking to that person in Jiffy Lube, I'm really looking at this meat right here and going, okay, so you typically, the people that's coming in your door makes over $35,000 a year. We need to target a radio station that makes over $35,000 a year. When you look at their occupations, they're in management, they're professional, they're in sales, they're educated, they have some college or a college degree. It shows whether they own or whether they rent. It shows how many kids live. So that is, again, who goes to Jiffy Lube. So I'd pull that out and ask that Jiffy Lube, franchisee, does this look right to you? Hopefully they say yes. Then I'm going to show that same person of the people that said they go to Jiffy Lube. These are the radio stations that they also said that they listen to. So I can walk that advertiser through this document right here and make my case for my radio stations. But much like doing a really good needs analysis, we got to dig a little bit further into what their business is. So this shows KBQI's the number one radio station of people they listen, and they also go to Jiffy Lube. KBQI, which is my country competitor, the Big I, they have 20,000 people that say of their listenership goes to Jiffy Lube. Safe to say that that's a good buy. Of the people that listen, there's 67,000 people. Since 20,000 of them listen, they index high. They index at a 186, meaning 86%. Their audience is 86% more likely than the average. The average here is KISS at 16.4. So that tells me that in Albuquerque, 16.4% of the people say they go to Jiffy Lube. Fair enough? So one of the things that we train our staff on is this is a great document to show. And, you know, let's say Coyote, again, not my radio station, but, okay, they don't index very well. You go, well, we shouldn't buy a radio station. Well, maybe not. Maybe they don't advertise on Coyote, and they're not inviting the Coyote listener to come into their store. So we have to kind of take the information that we have and take it a few steps further to go and make sure that we're really digging into it and making sure that we vet that out real well. But all in all, you know, again, we make sure that our audience and the Jiffy Lube audience matches up well. And we've got a lot of research that backs that up that we can walk an advertiser through.
How about the Coyote example? How about matching the spot and copy for the audience as opposed to using your style?
Well, and that's a great point. We fight a lot with especially national advertisers because Coca-Cola will send a rap song and want to air it on my country station. It's like, whoa, I know that you want to be consistent, but you're going to take my 5,000 people that are tuned in and they're going to hit a button because they don't want to hear your rap song. So we have to fight with them a lot on a national basis. It's local copy and local clients, we control that more where we go, look, this needs to match what the audience, because we want them to stay through your commercial and hear the next one. And I talk a little bit about that in a second as well. So that's the qualitative information. The Nielsen stuff is more my quantitative stuff. And I'll show you real quick, again, kind of what we look at and where I ask my account executives and train them to dig a little bit deeper. So this is a 12 plus, everybody in Albuquerque, what do they listen to? KKOB is the number one station to listen to in this town. And listenership for us, it's based on two things. How many people listen and how long do they listen? And they match those two things together to determine who's the number one station. Because I'll show you in a second, well, actually it shows here. There's 74,000 people listening to KKOB AM. There's 103,000 people that listen to KOB FM. Both of them are mine, great stations. But with KKOB AM, when you get when you get in a format that you don't really have a competitor, they tend to listen longer because they can't get that anywhere else. You can't get Rush anywhere else. You can't get Bob Clark anywhere else. Country station, I can bounce around. I can find country in a couple different places. Top 40, I told you about, you know, people they want to hear those hits over and over and over again. So top 40, there's a lot of turn in top 40. They don't stay very long because they're young and they're flipping around. So again, when an advertiser wants to look at who's the number one radio station, well, we always like to say, no matter what, I can make myself number one. I can find a place that shows me number one, but really, let's dig in farther and find out if the number one station is right for you, because it may not be. So that's just a straight ranker. Again, I'm going to go back to having a great needs analysis and finding out what my client is looking for. So I'll show you, maybe here is a county by county ranker, so I can find out. So if I've got a small business in Sandoval County, well, just because I'm the number one station overall,